My name is John Scala. Yes, I'm the John Scala from Guyan Avenue. Joe asked if I could give a little testimony of how God came into my life and what God's up to now. And I wanted to be there, but there was no way I could get off my work schedule. So my next best thing is taping it. So here I am. So I just want to tell you a little about myself. I guess I grew up in a Catholic family, Brooklyn, Staten Island. At a young age, I got involved with probably the wrong crowd, well, most definitely the wrong crowd, and drinking and drugs and dealing drugs and just hanging out on street corners. And that's the street corner on Guyan Avenue where one Sunday I remember three guys coming up thinking they were policemen. One Sunday I remember three guys coming up thinking they were policemen. I just was a little worried that they were going to arrest us for dealing, and kind of stayed away from them. But every weekend they would come up, and eventually we got to talk to them, and I kind of got connected with two of them. One was Rocky Balboa, and the other one was Howdy Doody, Joe and Wally. And they would just share Jesus and talk Jesus with me, and tell me how he can change my life. And I guess my life needed to be changed back then. I wasn't happy with my life, and I guess that's why I always turned to drugs, but I never really wanted to listen. And though I did listen when I was high, the times I was straight, I would not want to hear what Joe had to say, and I would avoid him or just not talk to him. When he was up on the corner, he would talk to other guys. But when I was high, and there was times I was doing drugs in front of him, he would share with me Jesus, and I would listen and ask a lot of questions, some silly ones. And I used to worry about Jews and getting saved, and about pygmies in Africa knowing Jesus, and how would they know that and go to heaven, and just silly questions that would probably just avoid really what I was, the whole issue of Jesus himself and being my Savior. And many times I promised Joe where I would come to church, but he would show up on a Sunday morning, and I either wouldn't be home yet, or I would be home or just getting home from being out and not wanting to go. And Joe was faithful, Joe and Wally, and the gang from the church would come up every weekend, and just going on over a year. And I remember there was a time where they stopped coming, and that's like a time that my life was a mess at that time. I just really hated myself. I hated the way I was living, and I wanted to join the Marines, and because I'd been arrested a few times, they wouldn't take me. And I remember talking to my probation officer, seeing if he could help me, and he could do nothing for me. And I really wanted to die. I wanted to commit suicide. I remember calling Joe up and asking him if, talking to him, and he said, just give church one more chance, or a chance. And so I decided to say, okay, Joe, I'll give church a chance. And he took me, that was early during the week, he took me to a party like Thursday, and Friday I went to the youth meeting, and Saturday I worked with him cutting grass for some kind of rally that was going on. And that Sunday, I remember the date, August 17th, 1983, is when I was in church and I accepted the Lord. And I remember a couple of weeks before that, though, I went to the church looking for Joe, because the same deal, I was high, and I had a big fight with my parents, and they wanted to throw me out of the house. And the only person I would turn to, the only person I really trusted was Joe, and I came to Gateway looking for Joe and looking for Wally and looking for any of the guys that used to come to the street corner witnessing to me. And I remember walking into the service and them ushering me outside, and a bunch of people just making a circle and praying over me. And I know that had something to do with my life being changed. And it's just a great thing. I just love God, I love Jesus, and he's my life. I live for him. After I got saved, and things weren't easy. It was hard, being a street guy, drug dealer, doing drugs, but it took a while. And Joe left to go to Bible college, and there was another family, the Francis family, that came up and took me underneath their wings. And I went off to Bible school after that, and I came back, worked for a Christian radio station. That's where I met my wife. We got involved with the church with Joe doing youth, and God just really moved in my life, really did wonderful things. I learned so much, getting in the Word and praying. And there's a time that we moved to New Jersey, and my wife, we couldn't have kids. My wife was infertile. The doctors just told her that she could not have kids, and my church just gathered around us in New Jersey, Shore Vineyard, and they just prayed for us. And you know, a couple of weeks later, my wife was healed. She got pregnant, and now I have 4 children. So where we're at now, where I work, you know, for Con Edison, and I'm still involved with my church at home, and we were doing youth group and sound ministry, and now we're more towards doing home groups. We're leading a home group 3 nights a week, and it's mostly on intercessory prayer, and that's where our heart is at, and that's where we're going. And I'm just a testimony to say that ordinary people can do great things for the Lord if they just do it. You know, James says, be doers of the word, and I've seen a couple of people be doers who went out to the street, and my life got changed because of that. Thanks.